Dejanay Calloway here with Cascade Sports, with the pleasure of interviewing current coach and former player Meghann Henderson. Hi,
Hey,
Megs.
hey, Dee.
So please tell us a little bit about yourself, player, coach, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Okay, so my name's Meghann Henderson. I grew up in La Habra, California. My whole family originally is from Belize, small country in Central America. I was actually just back there in September, visiting family and stuff. I used to go there a lot when I was little. Um, yeah, me and Dee were teammates back at college at CSUN.
Yes.
I was there from 2017 to like 2022. I was a point guard there. Um,
So
yeah,
crazy. I remember the day you walked in and your visit to
I
see.
know. Oh, my visit. Oh, my visit. No, I had a great time at CSUN. We were Big West champions there my freshman year. Um, yeah, I was just had a great time. I also for high school, I played at Sonora High School, also in La Habra. And now I coach at Esperanza High School out in Orange County, and I also coach a sixth grade AAU team. So yeah.
So speaking of high school, how were you as far as a player before you got to college? What led you to being able to play as a freshman, starting point guard at a Division I, university in a big city in LA?
Yeah. Honestly, I gotta shout out my high school coach, Braha. She like Coach Melissa Braha. She's still the coach at Sonora right now. She like prepared me for everything, like weights, track practices were difficult. She like I was always taller than like the rest of my teammates, but she always kind of knew that I would probably end up being like some sort of guard or like point guard when I got to college. So she like prepped me when I was like really young, like as soon as I got to high school. And then yeah, I think my style of play, especially in high school, was very, very like aggressive, like scoring mentality, very like defensive oriented too. And yeah, I gotta just shout out to her. She like prepared me really well for like the pressures of like college and like didn't sugarcoat anything with me.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah.
so, what was that experience like? I mean, obviously, I was there, so I kind of saw it a little bit, but like first day in, workouts, the transition of going from, how they always say, like when you're in high school and you're the best player, and then you get to college and
Oh
it's like,
yeah. And then you're
no more the
surrounded.
best players. How was
Yes.
that?
Yeah. It was definitely a switch for me. I knew because also like Flowers, like our coach at CSUN was also very, very transparent. And I knew what I was walking into before I even like signed to go there. I knew, we had like an older team. I kind of thought going in, I would just kind of be a role player. Like for me, my number one goal when I first got there was just like figure out my role, figure it out fast, and be good at my role, and that's it. Especially since our team was a little bit older, like they made it pretty far in like Big West tournaments, and like they were a very experienced group. So I kind of thought, coming in as a freshman, I didn't think I would get playing time, but I didn't think I would be in like that role that I was kind of forced into freshman year. So like my freshman year, we had a lot of injuries. You remember, a lot of guards went down, and then I became like the starting point guard my freshman year, and that was I'm not gonna lie, that was scary. I wasn't that good at it at first, but but coaches trusted me, you guys trusted me, which I thought that was like huge.
I remember so many days where I would feel so bad for you, but in hindsight,
Oh
I mean, I do think it.
yeah.
I mean, I can speak for you, but I felt like it made you a stronger player mentally, physically, emotionally. Sometimes I'm like, she's just a baby.
Oh,
Stop.
yeah, no. People think point guard, everybody, I always tell my high school girls this too. Everybody wants to be a point guard until it's really time to be a point guard, especially in college. Like, they don't play with you. So, like, Flowers was like crazy on me, even as young as I was. And like, everything was like mentally, I for sure was like mentally like checked out sometimes and like would be emotional. But I know now looking back on it and like, it just made me like you said, like a mentally like stronger player and like physically tougher. And it was to a point where I was just like kind of like, okay, like you could tell me anything. I don't really, it's not going to bother me. I'll just go out there and do my job.
Yeah.
And I did it for you guys. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I would bother. I would be like, oh
No, I
no.
can relate to that. And so college, just a little Megan highlights. Number 10 all time in assists, being a T-Sun. Number 8 in single season assists, tied for most games played in the season. And that definitely goes back to she's just a baby. She's tired. You played, I feel like, every single game your whole career, which is crazy. blessed that you didn't have any season-ending injuries or anything like that. But that is a big accomplishment to finish, and then also 2018 Big West Championship as a freshman, insane. Um,
Mm.
and
Mind you, we played Notre Dame the same year they won in the tournament. Just want to throw that out there for
don't
everybody. It was
forget that about
wild.
CSUN. Yeah, that was us. That was us there.
That
So
was, that was wild. And we did
exactly.
well too. Scary enough. We did actually really well.
Oh, I know. And so it's just again, it's so crazy to see like your evolution and development from that little, 18-year-old to now being a coach. You're doing it now. You're in that seat. So touch base on a little bit of like some of the coaching that you got. Do you see yourself kind of teaching those same lessons to your players? Do you see like patterns that you didn't realize you used to do when you were a player?
Yeah, I definitely think, I know for me, especially girls and like just the age group that I coach high school in like sixth grade. So like it's still kind of like new to them and that age can be like a little bit hard for a lot of girls. So like for me, the greatest like if I can just be like that example that you can find your confidence and kind of find yourself through sports, then like that would be like the biggest thing I could give like all my girls. I just want them to be like confident in everything they do, whether that is they keep playing basketball, if not cool, if they do awesome. But I think for me, like that's the biggest lesson I want to teach all my girls. Just be confident in everything that you do, especially being a woman in sports. It's rough sometimes. So like um yeah, but like coaching styles, I could see myself sometimes being, especially with my sixth grade girls, I could see myself being a little tough sometimes, but like for me, it's like I want to be like that tough person. I want to show them like you could be that balance between like toughness and still being like you and like still being a girl and like all that stuff. So
Yeah. It
yeah,
is
I do find
interesting.
myself being a little
Easy
tough, but
extremes. Yeah.
yeah. And then for me too, also coaching, especially for my high school girls, I feel like if you're personable with them, like there shouldn't, I feel like sometimes the relationship between coaches and players can be very like business like and it's not like as personable. If you make it like personable and still fun and like have that connection with your individual player, then like it will be an even more impact for them. So that's what I try to do. Just try to make it a little bit more
I love
personal.
that.
Yeah.
And then so that transition, that gap between, you're on this high of playing Division 1 basketball, everything's right there, everything's laid out in front of you, how you do your life. You wake up, you go to practice, you do your season, next year you do it again until you graduate. And they don't really give you a handbook on what happens after that.
Nope.
Um, so I definitely want to use this platform for people who don't know what to do when the ball stops bouncing. You don't know what to do when everything and anything that you were with sports and basketball and anything like I know when people think of my name, it's automatically basketball. Are you playing? Are you
Yeah.
still it's me. I'm D. I may not be playing high level basketball like I used to, but how did you transition into what next?
Okay, I'm gonna be 100% honest. Um, when I was done playing, I was done playing and I was more than happy to be done playing. Um, I had a rough like senior year, a lot of coaching changes. So like I was very like mentally turned off by like the whole sport. Um, so when I was done, I was like I was emotional. I cried like okay, yeah, like I'm not going to be playing anymore. But at the same time I was like
Yeah.
cool, like because I felt like I paid my dues. I mean, we won big. We've experienced all the highs and lows. Like I got everything that I wanted out of it.
Mhm.
And so for me to like hang up my shoes, hang up my jersey, I was like, okay, like I'm okay. And then I think also COVID helped with that transition for me a lot.
Yeah.
So at CSUN, we didn't play that like 2020, 2021. Like we didn't play that COVID year. We opted out of that season. So all of us basically just like went back home, still trained and everything, but like we weren't playing like how most teams were playing. So for me, just having that year off and just like reflecting on everything and being like, okay, like this whole life thing without,
You kind of got
you
a
know,
head start with it.
yeah, no, seriously, we got,
Drastic. Yeah.
yeah. And it was like a quick switch. So it was like, oh, like it kind of put things in perspective to me. Like, okay, this isn't like the end of the world. It's not everything. But like I think a lot of it is just like not also I feel like a lot of people tie their whole identity into their sport. And it's like sometimes you just gotta find something else. Like you're more than your sport, you know? Like that's
I
some
can see like I never really thought that perspective of like a smooth transition because I know for me, I was the year right before COVID, and so
Yes,
we were in the tournament, and the very last game, they were like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing this. It's
not
over."
doing this anymore.
And it was
Yeah.
like graduate by. Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, no, it's
I
crazy.
was like, how? What do you mean? I have to move back to
Me,
Missouri?
like,
Whoa, help!
yeah,
And so I never really thought about you kind of took a break.
we took a break.
A lot of teams do.
Yeah, I feel like for your year, yeah, it was a lot rougher. Everything just like stopped, especially like since your senior year. But for me, it was like, okay, we stopped, had a year off, and then I still had that extra year to play.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, okay, like obviously I'll play, like I'll come back. But um, yeah, I was like more than okay with not playing anymore. Like, I mean, I remember when I was little, I had dreams of like playing pro and stuff, but then like I think people sometimes don't realize how like mentally draining sometimes
Your
Division
role
One
as a point
actually
guard,
is.
yeah, it's a
So
lot of pressure.
yeah, it's a lot of pressure. And so and like I said before, I got everything I wanted out of it. So like I can't really there's nothing really else I wanna like achieve,
Do
honestly.
you ever find yourself still having like the athlete mentality, like the competitiveness or like the routine, the schedule, the like structure, or do you
I will
struggle
give
with
you that.
some
I will
people?
give you that.
Uh-huh.
The competitiveness, yes, sometimes. I feel like for me that probably was like a weird like switch to turn on and off. Like you have to find something. It's really hard to find something, especially when you're like a naturally competitive person. It's really hard to find something else that's like just as stimulating.
Yeah.
So for me, that was a little bit like kind of hard. But I still like work out all the time. I still find like stimulation of like doing stuff physically. So that part was a little bit like weird. But as far as like routine and stuff, I didn't really struggle too hard with like routine because I mean, like, we work and life, regular life stuff. So you still have like a sense of routine. It's just like a different type of routine.
Yeah.
Like,
I went through a phase like when I was done, and not really done because I went to go play pro. So I kind of am still like in it. But when I stopped from like the boom, 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 that routine,
it's
I
weird.
struggled. Like I really struggled. Because it was like kind of contradicting everything I thought of who I was. I'm a hard worker. I'm disciplined. I'm this. And it's like, yes, if you have somebody yelling at you all day, every day to tell you to
Yes,
do
nagging
it,
you.
you're
Go to
good.
Wade, go to
So it's
study
like,
hall, go to tutoring, go to this, go to that.
exactly.
Like,
So when I
uh,
had to tell myself, okay, get up and go work out, and it was like, you don't have to. And then it's like, whoa, wait, whoa, I've never thought like
that's
that before, but you can.
mind-boggling.
Yes,
It's
it's crazy. And that's what anything, it was like, it was really hard. And then I also like felt like, again, I'm such a hard worker. I'm so this. It felt like I was not using my talents in the best way. So I was just getting little odd jobs. And, I'm like, am I wasting my time? I would have got these degrees. I would have did all this. What
yeah,
am I
it's
doing?
weird.
I'm just filling the spot, you
Yeah,
know. So it was I struggled for a little bit. Luckily
yeah.
going to play pro, I was able to get a more of a smooth transition to slowing down with basketball. But I can definitely see how people, especially the ones like you said, tie your identity to the sport.
Oh, for sure.
And
It's
I
easy to
haven't.
get like it's easy to get wrapped up in the freedom of it all. Like, especially when someone's just been like in your ear telling you everything, like your whole routine for an entire day, and then all of a sudden having that freedom. Some people don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And it could be like
Scary.
wild.
It
And
is very scary. Well, Megs, this has been a wonderful interview. Just again, seeing your just evolution is it blows my mind. Blows my mind. This little tiny skinny girl coming into her visit, like I want to go to
so
CSUN.
small.
To be in my starting point guard, to winning big with you, and then seeing you now be a coach and passing these things and skills and talents onto the younger generation. Um, is there anything that you learned like in your time of playing sports and really being in that role that you would pass down to someone who's like you, wanting to gain their confidence, wanting to do what you did and be where you were? What would you pass down to them?
Just be confident in everything. Again, just be confident in everything you do. Work very, very hard. Like, cause you don't want to like walk away from your sport thinking like having regrets and stuff. Like
Oh,
thinking you didn't
regret.
work hard. I know for us, like when we played, we worked very, very hard, like being up before practice, going, getting shots up and all that stuff. So like I say if you like put your time into it and like work hard, stay disciplined, even if like not everything works out for you. Some you'll get something out of it just from having like that confidence and being disciplined.
Yeah.
It will carry over into anything else that you do in life. So
But with that, you never know when it'll stop. And
never know.
COVID and like me again, our season, they said it's done. You never know
Hmm.
when that injury will come. You never know
Yes,
when anything will happen and it's done. And so if you didn't give it all that year, that semester, that game, that season,
you
that
can't
is
get it
that
back.
regret, you can't fix that. That's tough to know like, if I would have, you'll be 35 years old, like,
35, and you don't want to be that 35-year-old auntie at your so and so's Thanksgiving dinner talking about, oh my God, I could have been this, or that. No, girl, no, 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 no.
that said, I
Don't be
was
that.
this, I did this, and
Yes.
so
And then
definitely
also
just
like for people still playing, have fun with it, enjoy it. It's really, I know we think it's like our whole world and stuff, but it's really not. Sometimes it's really not that deep sometimes. And it's like,
uh,
don't
it's
forget
such a
to
small time. It's not that long.
such a blip in your life. It's crazy. And like, don't forget that little girl that like first fell in love with the sport. Like, still think of her, still play for her, still have fun with it. Like, don't lose sight of like why you fell in love with it in the first place. Like,
Because
enjoy it while you still have it.
there'll be 5 a.m. days when you're running on the
Yeah.
treadmill or doing suicides in practice.
On
It's
the treadmill.
I do this.
Like, why did I sign this? Why did I want to go? Why did I sign that paper?
It's all worth it. In hindsight, it was all worth it. I don't regret anything when it comes to basketball.
I don't regret anything. And then, like, especially meeting you guys, like, I think also teammates is also a big thing. Like, teammates can also make or break your experience. I was blessed to have, like, literally the best teammates on the planet. Like, they kept my mind, like, here. So I'm always grateful for that.
I know they was
Even to this
literally like our
day,
child. It's like, Coach, leave her alone. Stop.
real. Because he was, did not play
Oh,
with me.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for giving your time to this. I know that someone will be able to relate to this and your experiences and mine. And again, just little girls, remember to work hard. It's worth it. It's such a small amount of time, but if you're passionate about it, that ball has taken me places I could have never imagined. And I'm sure as you experience people, relationships, connections, a girl from Kansas City went to go play basketball on full ride scholarship in California. Crazy,
Crazy.
and so just take advantage of it. Um, but yeah, again, this is Dejanay Calloway signing off with Cascade Sports with Meghann Henderson.
Thanks for having me. This is
Yes,
awesome.
ma'am.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.